Good morning, everybody. So it's 9:12 a.m. on the 8th of May, and we're coming into a month that is usually pretty volatile. And so we'll see what happens here this month. I feel like volatility or liquidity in the market has been pretty low this year so far. Um, so hopefully things pick up a little bit so it's a little bit easier to read the markets. Uh, so it's Monday, and last time I had a video update was on Thursday, and some has happened since then. I spoke a little bit about the regulation of me becoming a CTA and the progress with that. I have an update with that, and I have updates on trading as well on top of that, and a couple of closed trades that happened on Friday um, for some decent profit at the closing of the week. And an update on my high risk account as well. So let's talk about the high risk trading first at LMFX. As you guys know, I was trading a very small account of about 200 or so dollars to see what I could do, and we had some good trades. But I actually did end up um, blowing the account, unfortunately. And maybe I can pull up these trades to show you what happened. So I only lost like about 120. Yeah, it was about $250 or so. So it wasn't too bad. And again, this was free money. This was money that was given to me by the broker, so it wasn't anything that was too bad. So look at this. It's really unfortunate because of the situation. Now, the broker LMFX gives you a bonus of 100% every time you make a deposit. So if you deposit, say, $200, you're going to get 400. But the kicker to the broker is if you have a 50% drawdown of that account, then they'll remove your bonus and you'll just basically get a margin call. Um, so you can see here my trades and my top trade here, and then the market opened with a bit of a gap, and now it's not showing a gap here, but this shows the gap uh, at Owanda. Well, at least I thought it did. Well, for some reason, I guess I'm not seeing it. But it did open with a gap, I believe, of about 20 pips. There it is. There it is. I finally found it. It's about 20 or so pips, and then it bounced way back down. All right, so that's really unfortunate at this position because of these positions that I had. So I had one, two, three, and four, and they're all pretty high risk trades. But it basically margined me right at the very tip before it moved back down, and I would have had a really quite a substantial profit. I would have left this in for some time, at least on this down here. I would have probably pulled out on this candle. It would have been a pretty good profit. It's water under the bridge. It's fine. It's not any money that I didn't have before, and thought I'd try my chances with it. And I'll probably do it again. I don't mind throwing away a couple $100 here and there every once in a while, but I'll probably wait another while before I do that and move on to the next adventure, I guess. All right, so here is my main account. As you guys know, this is the Owanda account. Now, this account is still doing very well, and we have one trade that's in. And I'll talk about that trade in a second. But the two trades that, um, the two trades that we had on Friday, so trade one here and trade two, hit profit as you can see, right? And that was a pretty good profit. It's about $80 for me or so, if 75 or 80 amongst these two trades on the account. And the entry was after an inside candle. So we had a new high on this candle with the flag up there, or the wick. And then the inside candle set up here with the entry. Was looking for roughly about 50 pips or so. It moved down 14 initially. Moved up. We had another entry at the top This entry was on a grid on this particular trade, and we went in at about 20 pips, and then it shot back down after a little bit of a push back up further. Um, and we ended up getting a good 45 to 50 or so pips here. Oops. If I could type with or write with the drawing tool. And it was a good setup, especially right at the support the resistance here. There was also another one up here, and then it shot back down. All right, so that was a good setup. Trades weren't in for that long. This is on the 1 hour on the pound CAD. So current trade also I think looks pretty good. We have the inside candle set up here. So the push down, bearish candle, inside candle after it on the bullish side, and then the entry with the potential for this to move higher. Now there is some support down here in this area. As you can see, it pushed up, went up to this area, pushed back down, made some support here, pushed back up again in a tighter range, made that same support again, and then it shot back up. Now we're back at that same level. Is this going to be strong enough down here to for this to bounce back up again? I think that there is a good potential for that to happen. We had that inside candle, like I mentioned, and a bit of a bullish engulfing setup here on the right on that candle as well. So that might be enough for this to push from there. But nonetheless, I will continue to enter trades on the downside if it does go against me. Okay, so right now we're just in 40 cents profit, not a big deal. No trades on the pound CAD. I don't think that any will go in soon. I think I need for this to shoot up a bit higher and this or to push down a bit lower in order for me to take any setups on the pound CAD. All right. So there is something, and then probably the reason why I did this stream today was something that it's something new that I'm implementing actually. This is a new EA. Well, it's actually an old EA, but with new settings. It's one of my not original, but EAs that I created back probably 6 months or so ago. And I had some profitable tests with it in the past, um, but moved on to other things because I felt like it was maybe not as good as some of the other EAs that I had. I went back to it and took a look at it, and it actually is pretty dang good. And that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about now. What the EA does, how it sets up, how it trades, what does it look for, what does it look for, and so on. So let me see if I can get the chart to you now. I've done a lot of tests, sorry, so I had to kind of press this arrow button all the way to the end. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a second. And this is what I wanted to show you. Okay, so this is the EA in a strategy tester put on my FX book. Now the reason why I like doing that is because it shows you what the drawdown is. So 33%, and the test was done from 2000 to 2017, so over a 17-year period. Now I know a lot of you guys are against EAs, but the thing is that I use EAs because I find them as good tools for trading, that they can be used to make a profit in the market, and I've proved that over the last 6 months using my own personal EA. And you can see this has been a strictly EA account, and it's up 30% with a 21.81% drawdown, and it's been going since November of 2016. All right, so I think that I've proved here that EAs can be profitable if used in the correct manner. So this test here is showing from 2017 to 2000, and it shows basically a profitable month every single month of that 17-year period. Now it's not huge. It's showing 1.32% over 2% there, 0.8, and then all the way as low as 0.7 and zero point 0.6 here, zero point 0.6. But the thing is that it's still profiting, and it's profiting every single month in the course of these 17 years, which means that the compounding profits will add up, and you'll see some decent numbers by the end of the year. But the thing is that this is not just a solo run EA. This is an EA that is meant to be complementary to my other EAs as well. So that's why I'm running it at a certain risk level. So I'm not trying to overextend the account. These will be the settings that I'm running out. Now, the EA did hit 33% drawdown at one point, and I think it was in 2015 or 2016 during the course of its 17-year run. But it did turn, in this test at least, a 10,000 account, yes, a $10,000 account into 201,000 over the course of that 17 years. Now I'm just going to be looking for an increase in profit, so anywhere from 1 to 2% per month added to my current account right here. So as you can see, I'm getting about anywhere from 4, well, it says an average of 4.8% per month. So if I'm getting an average of 4.8% per month, I should increase that by another 0.6 all the way up to 2% in some cases on this account. So I'm hoping that that will increase my monthly profit by up to 2%, which would be pretty substantial. Okay. So I'm actually running that test in the background now for the EA. You can see how it runs. Now I need to try to, there it is, to show you what it looks like and what the setups are. So if I load the, I do this, guys, just so you have an idea of how an EA is created, what's needed, and what kind of testing you need to do in order to really have it ready to be for live trading, really. So we're going to load up the RMI indicator. You know that I use this indicator quite a bit. Now I got to change the settings on it. 5 and 95. Now these settings are basically showing me the most extreme conditions of the Euro US dollar. So that means that when it goes in one direction, if it's trending in one direction and the volatility is pretty heavy, then it should hit these levels. So I'm looking at the 100 or near the 100, so 95 up here and it's 5 down here. And this little EMA needs to hit either one of these levels. Now, if I go all the way and I try to find a place where that EMA actually did hit that level, you can see that it did just barely break that 95 level, and we had entries. Now, this EA is a lot different than my other EAs because the stop loss is a lot lower. The stop loss is 150 pips in this particular on this particular EA. Let me remove this. Oh, dang it! I actually removed the wrong one. Change the settings again. Okay, let's see if I can find another trade. Here we go. So it just hit the 95 level. We entered a position here. Okay, and then it was a short position. Now we're looking for, in this case, 15%, 15 to 20 pips profit. And you can see the equity curve is really, really solid. Now this is on the Euro US dollar, so this is a pair that that's more of a trending pair. But if we're looking for the most extreme conditions for overbought or oversold, and I mean extremely extreme conditions, and you can see here that we entered trades at the very, oh, my pin, down here at the very bottom here as well, and it ended up having a bit of a push up. The same thing here on this short position after a big move up as well. And it's not just about the trend either. It's not about that, oh, how high this euro US dollar moved in this span of time. It's also about the volatility. How much, how big were the candles? How fast did it move up in that direction? Uh, it depended on the RMI and the range and where it is. Okay. So this EA it trades on right now. I have it trading on the Euro US dollar, and it looks for uh, these types of setups. And it's just based on this indicator. And you can see here's another one. Now it does still enter on basket if it's not quite ready for that reversal or that pullback. But you can see here that it was a really good setup and that we ended up having some good profit. Now drawdown is not crazy high, but it's up there. That's why I mean the 33% is barely passable for me. But I'm also aware that it's 33% was hit just one time in one basket in the 17-year period. So it's likely that that this 33% drawdown may not ever get hit again. I don't know, but I'm preparing for the worst. That's why I have my settings set to that to accommodate this type of drawdown, just in case it does happen again. Okay, um, so. That's pretty much what I wanted to go over today. You guys know that um, typically my setups are based on the euro pound and the pound CAD, and I look for inside candles alongside a overbought and oversold market. Now, in this particular EA is a little bit different because it's just looking for overbought and oversold, but it's looking for very extreme cases of that, like the most extreme of cases. And you can see that the results are very good, although that they may be lower on the profit gains per month. But you got to remember that I'm also looking at the drawdown in this, that I want to be safe um, as possible, and that drawdown was hit at one point. So I'm not going to push this higher. I don't want a 60% drawdown on my 15K. That's just not something that I want to see. So 33% is a lot easier to work with. I also want to keep my margin safe as well, but since I only have 50 to 1 one leverage, so it's important to strategize like this. So you're looking at your account in the best way possible to protect it from having large unnecessary losses. Um, Now, you guys probably understand that this is something I've been working on for a long time, and as a CTA or trying to become a CTA, I'm trying to make it in trading, and it's not an easy thing to do because, as I've mentioned before, you need a substantial amount of money in order to make a an income in trading without having to risk a whole lot. So there are traders out there that can grow a $1,000 account into 10,000 or maybe even 25 or more. But a lot of times they'll lose it after that. What I'm trying to do is grow an account to 50,000 so I can pull back and just ride safer profits instead of having to push my account so hard with the potential of having larger losses. Um, so with 15,000, it's going to take me a while to do that. 15K is not a lot to make an income off of trading. I need about probably about 40,000 to 50,000 to make a full-time income um, of maybe 2,500 to $3,500 a month, which is still on the lower side, considering that I'm making about 5% per month. And 5% per month is really good to most trading standards, um, especially in the institutional market. Now, when we're talking about retail, people might think that that's so low. It's not something that you can really really grasp, and it's not attainable to make a full-time income off of. And I agree. You actually, as a retail trader with a smaller account, you need to make something pretty substantial, 20, 30% per month. But that's something that's so difficult to do, and not many traders can do it on a consistent basis. So why really try it to do something like that when your chances are so small. So that's why I'm kind of honing down on the 15,000, trying to scout out and look at the charts and pull a bunch of data to see what the safest way to push my account to the maximum profit without blowing it up, pretty much. And so that's why I'm hoping to get to around the 6% per month mark while keeping the drawdown roughly on my account or the risk roughly the same. Um, so I have to be patient here. And the reason why I have to be patient here is because the CTA thing that I've been mentioning and trying to get certified to become a commodity a trading advisor, and it's very expensive. If you guys have watched my previous streams, lawyer fees and fees to become a CTA would be anywhere from 8 to 10,000. And my sponsor, the person that was potentially was helping me pay for becoming a CTA, isn't going to be able to fork out all that cash, unfortunately. So my becoming a CTA is going to have to take a back seat for now. I'm hoping that eventually I can afford to do it myself. Um, and that's going to take some saving up to do. And it's something that I've been wondering, is this truly what I want to do? Is this something, becoming a CTA really the next best option for me when everything time-wise, does it make sense? Because my account will, if everything goes well and I don't have huge substantial losses and all my calculations were right, and in the next 2 or so years, I may have 40 to $50,000 in profit. Um, so do I wait it out? Do I just try to be patient and work my own account for the next 2 years and you know uh, have my musician job. I tour as well, and I make a decent amount of money that way. And just wait this out, put this on the back burner, my trading on the back burner. Let it do its thing with my EAs and my trading, and then come visit the CTA option again in the future, in the next couple of years, when my account has a track record now of 1 to 2 years, and if they look very good, it might be even easier to get a CTA because one, I'll have the money, and two, I'll have a longer than 6 month history that any potential investors could look at and be hopefully impressed with because of the long track record in testing and also in forward testing with a live account. So that's where I am right now, trying to decide if I should be saving for a CTA or and just letting my $15,000 account ride out for the next couple of years. That's something that I'm looking at right now. Um, and if that's the case, if I put the CTA on the side, then I'll still do my streams. I'll still talk about trades. I'll still talk about how things are going, um, what profits I'm bringing in through my EAs, and I'll talk about the trades that they're taking as well. So maybe you can try to either mimic the strategies that I'm using, um, or the techniques that I do, or the money management as well, the basket trading ideas, to give you an idea of maybe trying to find an edge as well. Because an edge is found by finding a pattern or something in the market that you can depend on or that you can execute with. Something, a tool that happens quite a bit that you can have a better chance of profiting with. Um, so I'm hoping that that is something that you can utilize in my streams, and that's what I'll continue to do. I know that this is something that I have wanted to do, and was going to show you the process also of becoming a CTA. But since that now may be put on hold, I'm going to have to do something different with my streams. Um, or go back to what I was doing before, which is talking about trading and how my account is doing the progress. So I hope that you will continue to follow me And I know that this stream has been a lot more talking than typical instead of chart reading, but I will get more into the charts, what my EAs are doing, so you can understand better of how they are working and why they're working as well. So I think that's pretty much the update that I wanted to give to today. My trade's looking pretty good. It's starting to shoot up now. I'm looking for roughly about 50 pips profit on this one, so it needs to shoot up to about the 85 area, so near the whole number, before I will likely be out of this trade. All right, guys, we're at about 25 minutes for the stream, so a little bit longer, not stream, but video. So I'm hoping that this is an update that you've found useful. But stay tuned for next week. We'll be coming. I'll be coming out with another stream to talk about more trading and how what's changing on my approach to increase profit. You know that's what I'm going to be doing here. Is I'm always going to try to decrease my drawdown while increasing my profit, and that's something that I'm always striving to do because I want to get to my 50K goal faster, um, and the only way to get there faster is by working for it. And that's not only not it's I don't say I'm not going to say the only way to get there faster is by increasing my risk. That's not that's not true. Is by working, is by pulling the numbers, is doing research to find out the best techniques to get there without risking more money. All right. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.